Hello and good morning. It's 8:30 a.m. and this is WRSU-FM New Brunswick. And you're tuning in to Scientifically Ever After, a show that brings literature to life by looking at the science behind them. Each week we take a piece of literature and put a new spin on it, a different perspective that observes it through the lens of science, from the social, cognitive, and biological sciences to even the more mathematical forms of reasoning and logic. This week, we're delving into the magical world of the Harry Potter series, and more specifically, the science behind all that witchcraft and wizardry. Thinking about the HP universe may make you feel desperate to belong to another world away from this one, but I assure you, it's not. There's good reason why Ron's father, Arthur Weasley, was a Muggle enthusiast and was fascinated with our own technology. It was in the quiet suburbia of Privet Drive where it all started, an ordinary Muggle or non-magical neighborhood. And in fact, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of house number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you would expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. That is, until a baby appeared at their doorstep one fine morning. That baby was their nephew, Harry Potter. But most importantly, he was the boy who lived. He lived amidst the wrath of the evil wizard, the Dark Lord Voldemort. You know who, at the height of his power. This was just the beginning of a story that's worth a 7-book saga about his destiny as the chosen one to defeat the Dark Lord. So what are we waiting for? Let's begin by taking a stroll through the first of them all, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Alright, Sorcerer's Stone for those who remember a past where no child knew what a philosopher really was, or worse, found them too boring. But we'll just call it the Philosophers for now, in the hopes of staying true to the original artistic intentions for the book, and for the particularly named stone's relevance in scientific history. Alchemy, in fact. Alchemy was a form of chemistry and speculative philosophy practiced in the Middle Ages and Renaissance. It involved discovering methods for turning base metals into gold and even finding an elixir of life from the Philosopher's Stone, prolonging life indefinitely. And while there appears to be a fine line between alchemy and chemistry today, many of the concepts and elements we hold dear in the modern chemical sciences have actually been derived from the art of alchemy. Take the German alchemist Hennig Brand, for instance. It was around 1669 when he believed he could obtain the Philosopher's Stone by heating residues from 50 buckets of boiled-down urine on his furnace for over 16 hours. What he discovered when the liquid solidified was not the Philosopher's Stone, but phosphorus, a seemingly ordinary element on the periodic table. That's something to think about the next time you light a match. Now, back to the story. On the way to Hogwarts, the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, Harry Potter has to take the train from platform 9 3/4. Only platform 9 3/4 doesn't exist, does it? In the real Muggle world, that is. All Harry has to do is walk straight at the barrier between platforms 9 and 10 and voila. Platform 9 3/4. Walking through walls and other barriers definitely seems like magic, but let's look at the science behind it. The phenomenon of quantum tunneling appears to be a convincing theory behind how you could walk through the hard platform wall. Quantum tunneling is the quantum mechanical effect of transitioning through a classically forbidden energy state. This isn't classical physics, it's quantum mechanics, so So matter is treated as having properties of both particles and waves. Suppose we fired an electron towards a wall. There is in fact a non-zero chance it would appear on the other side of the wall, having never passed into the wall itself. For us humans today, quantum tunneling can't seem to happen with our bodies since we're, well, massive, which makes our wave function so less it appears insignificant. However, a lot of research is currently going into macroscopic objects tunneling through obstacles. On a subatomic scale, cue the electrons that have significant wavelengths, this is possible. In fact, it's practically happening and being used already, from diodes and flash drives to scanning tunneling microscopes. The sun even shines because of quantum tunneling. Two positively charged hydrogen protons do not have enough energy in the sun to overcome their expulsion in order to undergo nuclear fusion and release sunlight. It's just not hot enough. Nevertheless, the sun shines all thanks to the minuscule probability that a particle will appear where it's not supposed to, aka quantum tunneling. This talk of train stations and tunneling reminds me of a song by English musician Imogen Heap that was part of the play Harry Potter and the Cursed Child that's based on this series. It's called The First Train Home, and so here it is.
Retreating to ovals of white. The urge to feel your face in blood rushing to paint my handprint. And frisbee one by one, your vinyl on laminate. Desperate for some kind of contact. First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home, I've got to get on it. Got to catch the first train home. I've got to get on it. First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home. Da da deo, deo, da deo, da da deo, deo, da deo. Temporal dead zone where clocks are barely breathing. Yet no one cares to notice. For all the yamming on, I climb up to hold it together. I want to play the waveforms in the hideaway. I want to get on with getting on with things. I want to run in the fields, paint the kitchen and love someone. And I can't do any of that here, can I? First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home. So what? You've what matters to you. It doesn't matter to them. What matters to them, it doesn't change anything. Got to get on it. First train home. 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 First train. Got to go. To get out now.
On to the next magical object. Let's think about all the moving pictures in the Harry Potter universe, like the chocolate frog card where Dumbledore suddenly disappears, the characters that inhabit Hogwarts paintings, or even the newspapers and posters where the people in them wink cheerily at you. Remind you of anything? How about GIFs? GIFs? .gifs? However you want to call them? A GIF stands for no, not great internet fun, but graphics interchange format. There are a series of compressed graphics that create animations, and to give you a brief history of them, I'll have to transport you back to 1987. In 1987, at the tech giant company CompuServe, developer Steve Willite and his team had a problem to solve. How do you make a computer display an image efficiently? How could you share a color image file without taking up too much of the computer's memory and without losing any data in the process? And you guessed it, Willite found a way to do this. He used a compression algorithm called Lempel-Ziv-Welch, or LZW compression, which was named after the computer sciences Lempel, Ziv, and Welch. This compression works by first reading a sequence of symbols. It then groups those symbols into strings and then codes. And since these codes take up much less space than the symbols they replaced, you now have lossless compression. Back when the internet was new, if you remember such a time, you know that when we had dial-up connections and dreadfully slow internet download speeds, the GIFs were used extensively because they didn't require much bandwidth. They then released an enhanced version of the GIF that allowed people to compress animations using time delays between multiple images in succession. Our blogs online are wizard-worthy because of these GIFs. If you wanted the off-screen version of moving pictures, there's the case of electronic paper or e-paper and electronic ink. The most common example of this is the Amazon Kindle. They use e-ink technology where pigmented particles move inside small capsules in something called an electrophoretic display. It's already happening with newspapers like the French daily Les Echos, who announced the official launch of an electronic version of their paper in 2007. Next up, we're looking at another device that makes a common appearance in the book, or rather, disappearance, the invisibility cloak. Before we go into how we could be invisible IRL, I thought the song Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap would complement this topic perfectly. Heap wrote the music for Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and is pretty magical herself. In this song, you can hear a lot of electronic music and even random ambient sounds like a frying pan in the background. Yup, pretty magical. It's definitely why it's so iconic and powerful in its emotion, from the endless memes to even being sampled by Jason Derulo. So here it is, Hide and Seek.
Where are we? What the hell is going on? The dust has only just began to fall. Crop circles in the carpet, sinking feeling. Spin me round again and rub my eyes. This can't be happening when busy streets a trains and sewing machines. All those years, they were here first. Oily marks appear on walls where pleasure moments hung before the takeover, the sweeping insensitivity of this still life. Hide and seek, trains and soaring machines. You won't catch me around here. They were here first. What you say? That you only meant well, well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best, 'cause it is. What you say? That it's just what we need. You decided this. What you say? What did she say? Rinse and notes keep falling out your mouth. Mid-sweet talk, newspaper accounts. Speak no, feeling no. I don't believe you. You don't care a bit. You don't care a bit. Rinse and notes keep falling out your mouth. Mid-sweet talk, newspaper accounts. Speak no, feeling no. You don't care a bit. You don't care. You don't care a bit. 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 You don't care a bit.
The invisibility cloak, or the cloak of invisibility, is a magical garment which renders whomever or whatever it covers unseeable. In the book, Dumbledore anonymously gives Harry Potter the cloak as a Christmas present and tells him to use it well. There's a cloaking device in real life as well. It's been developed by the University of Rochester. The Rochester cloak is basically an arrangement of 4 lenses that bends light around the object in front of it. You can actually make one at home using instructions from rochester.edu. However, though it can make you invisible, it's not really a cloak. At UC Berkeley, researchers are developing a skin-tight, ultra-thin, metamaterial-based optical cloak. A metamaterial is a synthetic composite material with a structure that has properties that aren't usually found in natural materials, like a negative refractive index. The thin invisibility cloak is only 80 nanometers thick and is made up of tiny gold antennas that make you think that you're looking at a flat surface instead of a 3-dimensional object. This is because this metamaterial disrupts the way light is scattered. It can hide irregularly shaped objects like, yup, you guessed it, the human body, but so far it can only cover an object 1 square millimeter in size, like a grain of salt. The Muggle world of science might have to catch up a little more to the advancements of the wizarding world, but it's interesting to look at the two entities that complement each other. I'd like to share a soundbite from educator and producer Hank Green's video, Harry Potter vs. Science, and on his and his brother's YouTube channel, Vlogbrothers, where he compares the series and science after going to the HP Studio and Natural History Museum in London.
children. Or more correctly in my case, it's like choosing between my parents. These are two things that didn't just contribute to how I understand the world, they built me as a person. Oddly enough, what I love about science is that enthusiastic, perpetual drive toward objective truth and understanding. And what I love about Harry Potter is that unironic drive toward objective goodness, loyalty, and love, and building together something greater than ourselves and something better than ourselves. Not just for ourselves, but for everyone. Those are two things that are really like guiding principles of my life, and so no, I'm not gonna pick between them, and yes, I am excited to be able to talk about them here on a bench in Tower Hill in London.
I hope I've convinced you that the real magic may not solely lay in all the spells and contraptions in the world of witchcraft and wizardry, but rather in J.K. Rowling's writing. Her literature has sparked a spellbinding curiosity in a generation of readers and have pretty much predicted the sci-fi future to come. It's all about perspective, and it's a lot easier to believe in magic when you have hardcore science to back it up. I'd like to end with one of my favorite conversations in the book. It's between Harry Potter and Dumbledore. Soon after Harry finds out that Nicholas Flamel, 690-year-old creator of the Philosopher's Stone, will soon destroy that elixir that kept him alive for so long. "Destroyed?" said Harry blankly. "But your friend, Nicholas Flamel." "Oh, you know about Nicholas," said Dumbledore, sounding quite delighted. "You did do the thing properly, didn't you? Well, Nicholas and I have had a little chat and agreed it's all for the best. But that means he and his wife will die, won't they? They have enough elixir stored to set their affairs in order, and then, yes, they will die." Dumbledore smiled at the look of amazement on Harry's face. "To one as young as you, I'm sure it seems incredible, but to Nicholas and Perennial, it really is like going to bed after a very, very long day. After all, to the well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. You know, the stone was really not such a wonderful thing. As much money and life as you could want. The two things most human beings would choose above all. The trouble is, humans do have a knack of choosing precisely those things which are worst for them." Harry lay there, lost for words. Dumbledore hummed a little and smiled at the ceiling. And with that, I'm afraid it's time to leave for now. Next week, I'm either planning to revisit Roald Dahl's Matilda or The Martian. I'll be putting up a poll on our social media pages, and let me know if there's another book you'd like. Since I played electronic music from Imogen Heap, I've got to play another magical musician, Billie Eilish. What's interesting about her is that she strives to create a genre of her own. Her quirkiness is her signature, which seems quite brave, like the chosen one, Harry Potter. In this song, I'm leaving you with "Bury a Friend." You can hear random sounds from a glass shattering and a stapler to even an easy bake oven timer. They're pretty random and spontaneous, but they also combine together, almost by magic, to create something enjoyable. So here it is, "Bury a Friend." As always, thank you so much for listening to Scientifically Ever After. This is your host, Hannah, signing out.
What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go?
Come here.
Say it, spit it out. What is it exactly? Your pain is the amount cleaning you out. Am I satisfactory? Today I'm thinking about the things that are deadly. The way I'm drinking you down, like I wanna drown, like I wanna end me. Step on the glass, staple your tongue. Bury a friend, try to wake up. Cannibal class, killing the sun. Bury a friend, I wanna end me. I wanna end me. I wanna end me. What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go?
Listen.
Keep you in the dark. What had you expected? Me to make you my art and make you a star and get you connected. I'll meet you in the park. I'll be calm and collected. But we knew right from the start that you'd fall apart, cause I'm too expensive. Your talk would be something that shouldn't be said out loud. Honestly, I thought that I would be dead by now. Calling security, keeping my head held down. Bury the hatchet or bury your friend right now. The debt I owe, gotta sell my soul, cause I can't say no, no, I can't say no. Then my limbs are frozen, my eyes won't close, and I can't say no, I can't say no.
Careful.
Step on the glass, staple your tongue, bury a friend, try to wake up, cannibal class, killing the sun, bury a friend. I wanna end me. I wanna end me. I wanna end me. What do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know? Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me? When we all fall asleep, where do we go?